You get my phone. That's what we'll do. Good
Yeah, hi Kevin.
afternoon. How are we doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, 100% I can hear you. Good
Let me turn this up a little bit.
All right.
So where are we talking from?
Currently I'm in Nigeria. Yeah,
Wow, wow, wow. Welcome to the show. And say
yeah.
your full name. Say your full
It's
name.
it's Greatdorlin Wisdom. That's my son name, but my name is Greatdorlin.
Uh, awesome name. Awesome name. Okay. So this is Thomas Kobasinski, the Industrious Illumination Show. We introduce people and entrepreneurs, LinkedIn, all this stuff. My background, doctoral student, gonna graduate here in less than a year. Got 30
Yeah,
books out in the market. I like to interview other authors, personalities throughout the whole world. We have a whole list of them gonna be here soon. And the
yeah.
show is absolutely free. It gets you out there. We put it on Twitter, LinkedIn, all these others everywhere, basically. And then so let's talk about your journey. What
Okay.
what's led you so far? Just go into details of what it is.
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Thomas, for the introduction, and it's great to be here to, share my background and what I do, right? It's always a joy for me. So, Great Dollar Wisdom, like I said, some people say GD. I think that's much easier to pronounce for some people to just say the letters G and the D. But my journey so far has been in event. I initially have a background in marketing, right? So I've worked in marketing for over going to about over 5 years right now. But then alongside that, I've been in the event space. So I've majorly been supporting events, event curators, talking about both personal brands, both organizations, and the rest, right? So I've been supporting them. And I've sort of like had some early into my journey, I had like some very interesting stories of things not going well. But then at some point, I started to figure things out and I started to work more with systems rather than just, working on vibes, as we call it, right? So once I figured out how to work with systems, I was able to start seeing much better results with events. So I doubled down on events, and right now I run a company called Create Great Events, and currently also working on a book called, which is going to be out really by March, this quite month of March. It's titled Your Next Great Event. So it's a book written for everybody who wants to plan events to grow their personal brand, companies, and the rest like that. So that's a brief background about me.
Amazing. So how do you bring the book to its attention? Are you just doing everything yourself, self-publishing? Are you trying to do traditional publishing and try to make the big money with it?
Okay, so I have a co-author. My co-author is Krista Winyako. She's based in the UK. The company currently is like registered in the UK. Create Great Events is a UK entity. So we are self-publishing, right? Majorly, because we sort of like we own the whole platform, which includes we're also giving resources to authors. For example, we have like tools we created for authors. One of the ones we've not seen on the market, which we created, is like a calculator. It's not like a generic event budget calculator, like a calculator that actually helps you forecast your event results, helps you know if this event is likely to make money or lose money, which is something that we see a lot with events because a lot of people are like, I'm no longer planning an event because most events just ensure you lose a lot of money and then there's no result. So what we did is like we created something that we know is going to be very useful to the industry. So we sort of like own it. We're going the self-publishing route. But then yeah, we're definitely collaborating with some event platform out there in the entire process.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Um, I'll just say I'm in my very early 20s.
Oh, wow. Okay, because I didn't publish my first book till I was 35. So
Yeah,
congratulations. There you
thank
go.
you. Thank you.
Because
Yeah,
it seems like with a lot more technology back then, like today it
Yeah,
is, you have the
yeah,
advantage to create those books faster. Over time,
yeah,
it was like you created those books over time. If you did the
yeah,
research studies and stuff for me, I created 30 books from all my research studies from previous schools.
yeah,
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create more books once I get this
yeah,
other degree finished. So the
yeah,
younger generation is definitely finding the faster way of creating
yeah,
those books. So
yeah.
you actually did answer number two already. So give me 1 second.
Sure thing.
Okay. So basically, number two was you recently wrote a book around events and business growth. Basically, answered that. What inspired you to write it, and what problem were you hoping to resolve?
So one of the major things I see a lot with founders and people that run event, I mean, I've been like in the mix of this. And one of the things is like people do things very haphazardly. Like they do things like based on vibes. I know somebody that I was talking to and she's like, "Oh, I've been hosting an event for 12 years now. Why do I need your book?" And I'm like, I think you have more years in events than I mean, I have a co-author and she sort of like brings more years of experience that together we have about 15 years of experience, over 15 years writing this book combined, right? But then this person says she's been hosting an event for 12 years and oh, why would I need your book? And one thing I would notice, like most of this event system, is the fact that they literally do not have systems. So events do come up, right? And then they find a way to run it. It works, all glory to to God or something. And sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't go well. So how do we ensure that we have a cohesive process for this? How do we ensure that events actually generate results? And one of the things we're doing is like some event, for example, they generate results for a particular segment. You know, most times in events, you have about four people in the mix, at most five. So we're talking about you as the organizer, the attendees, you have possible sponsors, maybe vendors and exhibitors. So there are more like a lot of people in this mix. So some events sort of like only cater to one of these people. So for example, maybe you as the organizer, you get like a lot of leads from the event, or the attendees sort of like got enough value, and then the sponsors do not see like the return on their investment. Or for instance, the vendors do not see a return on their investment because like you don't have like a cohesive process to ensure that people actually purchase like from them and stuff. So what we're doing is like we're sort of like allowing that everybody in the event mix gets value. Like sponsors are get value. We're looking at unique ways that different kind of sponsors you could integrate different sponsors into your event. Because for example, say some for some event, it's more like you just went for an ad, right? It's more like, oh, this person sponsored, but then there are other unique ways to integrate the sponsors into an experience. I'll just like throw one out there for listeners. So for example, my co-author, which is also my co-founder for Create Great Event and co-author for Your Next Great Event, she hosted an event and she had a food brand sponsor. So what would like most people do? They'll say, oh, we have this insert food brand name, whatever food brand name it is, sponsored our event and stuff. And then it sounds like an ad. But what did they do? It was just like the food all the food that was served was they had like a unique plate, right, with the sponsor's name, and everybody around the event used those plates, right, for every food that was like eaten around the event. So right now, it's not like we are intentionally putting this sponsor in your face. We are rather just creating them into the experience in a way that it's so unique and it feels so natural and so authentic that I don't really need to sort of like put them so much in your face that it gets so annoying sometimes or so boring for the attendees. So like these are some of the things that yeah we covered in the book and more.
Okay, question number three. From your experience, what is about the live events that creates the impact in the way other channels don't?
I'm sorry, can you go over the question again?
Yes. From your experience, what is it about live events that creates impact in a way other channels don't?
Oh, I believe live events are one of the most authentic event right now. There's a lot of tools coming out there, especially like artificial intelligence tools that sort of like can deepfake a human, and I mean you can't even tell the difference anymore. And one of the things is like you can't take a deepfake human to an event, right? if I am connecting with you at an event or I'm seeing you physically, it sort of like deepens that trust with the brand to know that, oh, these people are actually real people and they exist out there in the world. So what we've seen like with most life experiences, like you discover that there is a face to this person, there is a face to this brand, and it gives you like that closeness to the brand or to the individual behind the brand or whatever. Maybe it's an author that's hosting a event for their book or some sort. You know that there is actually someone behind this, and it gives you like that cohesiveness compared to other event experience, which we actually also cover in the book, and is also very useful. But then life experiences are more authentic in nature, and it gives like this connection that you just can get from like totally virtual experiences or other type of event experiences.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yes. With AI changing how content is created and shared, let's talk about bigger picture. What is the one thing AI simply cannot take from authors and entrepreneurs?
Hmm. I think that's a very interesting question. I would say like one thing I believe AI can take right now from what is I mean it's taking a whole lot. I had Amazon has a new feature on the is it on the Kindle or something that lets AI literally speak like AI to use your book. More like people can ask your book's question, which means your book is just used to train their AI services. I think that I saw that recently on the platform, right? So like it's even more like even for authors, sort of like the powers are drifting a bit away from the hands of the author because I mean, the tools are coming into the mix, right? But then one of the main thing I believe that AI sort of is not taking like anytime soon, or yeah, we're not close there is the authenticity that comes with event, right? I mean, like that's why I'm talking a lot about events right now because it's like I know that there's a person behind this book. I know there's a person behind this brand. I know that there's an actual human that exists here. Something I would not just get from, say, I mean, social media is a good place to connect with people. But when you know that I'm interacting with a real person, right? And there's that sort of like human connection to it. I think I was watching a video today and someone was talking about how the major problem in today's world is that the face is removed. And once the face is removed, right, it's a philosophy theory that once the face is removed, it's easier for people not to be able to connect a story to a person. And then it's much harder for people to relate to certain things, and it's more easier for evil actors to actually carry out their bits because now we can relate a face to what is happening in the world. But once we can attach a face to things, it gives you this human feel towards the personality. So one of the major things I would just say is like that personality, that authenticity, right? The trust that comes from knowing that there's a human behind this. A human is trying to give me a very great experience here. It's one thing I feel like AI is not taken like very very closely. Events just seems to be the one major thing that humans will still crave for because I don't think we're at that point yet where people 100% just want to be connected to robots or something of sort.
Good answers. Really solid, good answers. Do you think we're moving into the time where trust matters more than content?
Trust than content. I feel like it's 100%. If I don't trust somebody's content, why would I even listen to them in the first place, right? So trust seems to be like even the biggest driver right now. And one of the very ways to build trust is by showing people that first of all, you know what you're talking about. Second of all, you're qualified to be talking about what you're talking about. Number three, you have enough experience to be talking about what you're talking about. Maybe you've done stuff about this, right? So, I mean, anybody can like sort of like plug and play into an AI tool and like just maybe get content right now with the entire wave that's happening. But then there is that very part, which is like a thing that it keeps like coming over and over for me in this conversation is like the authenticity is something that I don't think it's something that we can lose because the people just want to know that there's a human behind this. And even as much as these tools are getting smarter, which are like the artificial tools, it's there's still that deep need to know that this is a human. So that because I need someone, okay, there's an entire thing that someone put out. It's like if AI can do everything, what we need is a human behind it to take responsibility for the actions. Because one thing that these tools can do is that they can do whatever task we want to give them to do. But one thing they can do is like they cannot take responsibility for either the failures or the success. The human is still going to take credit for that, right? If an AI tool succeeds or fails, it's probably like a human behind it. And then the AI human is the one that takes credit for both the failure of the success of those tools, right? So trust just seems to be like a very human factor in the mix that I don't feel is going anywhere anytime soon.
It sounds good. 1 second here. Right. AI, well, you know what? You already went through this question. We're skipping that question. It's basically saying AI can generate information, but it can't live a life. How important is personal story, real life experience standing out today? You basically answered that. So 7, for someone who is only showing up online through posts or content, what are they missing? And if there's no real human interaction?
I don't get the question. Can
So
you just take it one
basically,
more time?
AI is an invisible thing. Like it does its rating and stuff like that. But if you're interacting, like if you're at a restaurant or something and you're interacting with 2 people, that's what it's talking about. AI is missing that human interaction. AI is just writing it for you. See what I mean? I can ask the question again. 1 second. It could be a little bit confusing, but that's for someone who is only showing up online through the post or content. What are the missing if there's no real human interaction?
Yeah.
So if somebody's just showing up online and not doing like a
Um,
physical.
Yeah. So to be fair, right, to that question, in even the book, we didn't just cover on physical event. We also did cover virtual event, like hybrid event that combined with virtual experiences and physical experiences together. And I would say that for that, like people not interacting with people like in person, I feel you could still get like very decent results, say, or you just post it on social media or all of these platforms. But one thing with events that ensures that everybody's still doing event, I feel like even the biggest of brands is still like looking for ways to host events, sponsor events, and everything is because it gives the brand a face. And everybody does not actually have to host an event, right? That's also one thing. I mean, for some people, their role in an event mix is to ensure that they sponsor the event. And what we're doing is that how do we ensure that if you're sponsoring an event, there's value to the event? We want to train the organizers to know how to give you value as a sponsor, right? So there are different people in this mix, right? So even with the entire like live interaction and everything, I feel like not necessarily everybody has to host an event. Some people can come in the mix in other ways, in different ways. I mean, they're becoming vendors, exhibitors, sponsors, and the rest, right? So I would say that events are still like a very solid one, but then the mix of experiences will always work out, both the virtual ones, the physical ones. I mean, I will always recommend physical experiences, but then we'll always recommend physical experiences, but then yeah, the virtual ones.
Okay. So here comes an interesting question with number 8. Why do you believe live experiences, speaking workshops, or events are becoming more important in the AI age? So, for instance, if you're
Because
guest
like there's a
speaking,
lot of like
okay, all right. I just wanted to make an
yeah.
example just in case if you didn't understand
Yeah.
it, but you're good.
Yeah, the question was very clear. Yeah. So I would say like right now, the major reason events are becoming like more useful is because authenticity is like literally dying, right? There's a lot of AI slop right now. There's a lot of non-humanness that exists in the world that sort of people are looking for real connections. I know a few couple people
Internet's freezing up on your end. So on my end, so on yours. Cuddy, this is too many questions. Remember, you only stuck with 5 the last time. 10 is too much. He just lost internet connection. Why would you create 10 questions instead of just doing 5? This guy's doing a pretty good, doing a pretty good job of answering the questions, but here's the thing. The thing is that he just got disconnected. So I might have to just, I'm going to give him a couple more minutes, but I might have to just end it right here. But it's still good. It's still very, very good. Okay. I'd like to find this. I'd like to find this guy on here so I could recommend his work. Because I'll tell you what, this guy is a hard working fellow for sure. This guy's very impressive with him only being 22 and having a book. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean, it's only going to be for a couple more minutes because I don't want to go in over an hour. But I'd like to find his name on LinkedIn here. Yeah, it's okay if it dropped off. I understand. It's not. What's it again? Yeah, I know. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll give him a few more minutes. It's no big deal. I was a little rusty too with the interview too. So I mean, there was one question. There was one question he didn't get, and it's okay. He answered them all fine. He was pretty good. It was well worth the time. It was actually fun. I'm gonna try to get other interviews. I got one interview for Bobby Watkins, who's a photo TV camera, well, a photographic carnival photographer, and some other stuff. Country music, news, country music stars and stuff like that. So we might go into different fields with this. I also have a lawyer attorney up in New York that's barred in 3 different states: New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So it'll be okay. I'll give him, I will give him a few more minutes. If he doesn't show up, it's no big deal. And I'll make sure he gets the link, make sure he gets the link for the show and everything like that. And let's see here. Yeah, I'd like to get this guy. Oh, okay. Wait, he's coming back on now. Coming back
So
on
that
now.
was like, yeah, that was really strange. Sorry about that.
No, it's
But I think,
hey, yeah, it's all
yeah.
it's okay. We got just a few more
Yeah.
minutes here.
Oh yeah. So I got the last question before I think there was an interruption.
Yeah.
So you were asking a question particular to the fact that how important right now is events to different mix of people based on the fact that AI is becoming like a very big thing on the market. One of the things I would say to that is that like I was like the answer I was initially given, it's because there's a lot of slop out there. There's a lot of fakeness. There's less authenticity out there. So sort of like people are craving this connection because right now, I mean, you can tell so much of what is real anymore. To an extent, we could try because I mean the tools out there are getting really good that you can't even distinguish humans from machines. So sort of like one of the reasons we believe events are becoming the thing is because they remain like one of the last ways that exist since dawn, or since the dawn of time, but just become more important because of the changes we're seeing right now in the world for people to actually connect, right? And I remember like in the beginning of the conversation, I said something that there's even the bigger opportunity that even exists for organizers is in the fact that you could turn events into machines rather than just um, a one-off event, right? Because one thing people do is like they host an event, but there is no unique way to actually ensure that people stay in the mix. There's no unique way to ensure that they nurture these people to probably like become a fan, or a customer, a client, right? So those are like some of the things that I mean the book that we just wrote covers in your next great event, right? So I feel like right now, or I believe right now, it's a very good time for people to jump on the opportunity of event because it looks like the very last way that authenticity can still be projected. And one last thing that people are still very interested in experiencing in today's world.
Okay, awesome. Oh, okay, this is a similar question, but just try to be a little bit shorter with this because we have a time constraint. Okay, how do
Hmm.
you live? How do you live engagements help someone from just being visible to actually creating real opportunities like partnerships, clients, or business growth?
Yeah. So that's like a very good one right there because we felt like that's one of the major things we had to cover in our book because we realized that if we're just like wrote on how to host an event, then it's majorly not that useful. We have to ensure that events are actually profitable. So I would say that one of the, or I'll try to drop two tips that is useful to everybody listening. And one of the ways is by ensuring that your experience is created in a way that it leads people to what you are offering, right? Your event has to be really useful and sort of like have a funnel, or if we could use that word, a way to funnel people to learn about what your offerings are beyond just your event, right? So from your communication, your email marketing, all your old marketing materials, it must like all trickle down to at the end of the day, guiding people towards what you're offering. I mean, not some people, most people, right? A large percentage of people might not end up becoming client or partners. But one of the thing is you don't need everybody to be fair, right? You need like a certain percentage of people, and you must ensure that your experience is created in a way that those people are able to see a very clear way to maybe take on your service, to take on what you're offering, right? This is one thing that you cannot just leave to chance. It has to be engineered into the exact process of the event. So yeah, there's that very huge opportunity right there for events to create clients, to create partners, to create like a pipeline of people that are interested in what you provide. But one of the very relevant ways to ensure that that happens in your own event scenario is to ensure that you engineer this into the event experience, that the people who need what you're offering would have like a clear path to be able to come on board.
Cool, awesome. Final question. If you could give me one piece of advice to an author or an entrepreneur who wants to stay relevant right now, what would you tell them to start doing?
So, one of the very major things that I
Okay, just got disconnected again. Give them a few more minutes to get back on here. Okay, Teddy, he got disconnected again. I'm gonna wait for a few more minutes and give him a couple more minutes to answer this final question, and I'm gonna send this off and get it on to the channel.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly take on the question. I believe we're wrapping up. So, the question that I got is if there's one advice for an entrepreneur or an author listening on how to ensure that, like one piece of advice I would give is the fact that you have to start defining what matters to the people who you're called to serve. And when I mean called to serve, I mean the people you probably have written for, the people your business caters for, right? One thing we initially covered in chapter one of the book is that we talked about defining your core event's value, and sort of like trickles down into every single thing in life because you have to define why, right? So once like a why is clear, which in the case of our book we called it your core value, you're able to clearly see how that's going to connect to your audience, and it's much more easier for you to put out something out there into the world that actually gets results, right? Because first of all, you have to define how does this become valuable for me as the author? How is this valuable for the attendees? And these are some very important questions that sometimes event curators do not ask themselves, and they just like jump into running an event. So one of the major things that I would advise, and I'm sure my co-author is going to share the same sentiment, is that you first of all you define your core event value, like why should anybody care about like what you're putting out there into the world, and how does your product solve like a unique need? In this case is like how would this event, right, that is to funnel people to my product, how does it solve the unique need? And once you can define that for your unique case scenario, I feel like you're on the path to success.
Cool. That is an awesome answer. Okay, so one last thing I like to do with my guests is I gotta want to make sure I get you on LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
then I can recommend your work and you can recommend my work. And I'd like
Yeah.
to give you a strong thing on that. What is your name on LinkedIn? What is your name on
My
LinkedIn?
name is Greatdorlin. I mean, I'm the only person bearing the name. So Greatdorlin Wishom. That's my last name. Greatdorlin and then Wishom.
Ray Dolan. Why can't I find it? Um, I
It's
don't know
spelled
why it's
all
not showing up.
it's spelled all
Um,
together. Great with the Great, then Dorlin, wisdom.
oh, it's all one word. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Great. Great. Oh, wait. Grehc. Oh, is
No,
that how you spell? Oh, okay.
Greatdorlin.
Dorlin. And what's the last part? Wisdom, right?
Wisdom. Yeah.
There we go. Awesome. Found you. All you got to do is let's see. I want to follow you too. Oh wait, there's a
Okay.
connect. Okay.
Need to ensure to connect that.
Great. Yeah, great presentation picture on LinkedIn as well. That's awesome. That is great.
Mm,
Yes,
thank you.
at 22 I was completing my second degree. This is amazing that I met you. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're very informational, influential. Sounds like you're going to be a great future leaders of America with the responses that you have. And I'm going to use
Mm.
it on the show, and it will be up on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, X, wherever I can put it.
Thank you so
And I
much. I
definitely
really
do
appreciate.
appreciate your time. So what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do is, once you add me, I'll recommend your work. And then I'll ask for that recommendation, like for the show only, just for the
Yeah.
show, basically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you have anybody else that wants to get on, tell them it's totally free, but it's on my time. So
Yeah.
we try to keep it down around 30 to 60 minutes. We can keep it down short, and that's even better. But sometimes people are longer than short enough. But
Yeah.
anyways, it's great interviewing you. Have a great
Yeah.
day, sir.
Yeah, so one thing I would just like to add, if you want to like learn more about like the entire project I'm currently working on, the website is creategreatevents.com.
Oh, okay.
Creategreatevents.com. All
All
right.
right.
So just creategreatevents.com, and yeah, you can
Wait
like
a
learn
second.
more.
1 second. You know what? Let me see something there. See, I can't see your page. Oh, okay. You do have a link on there. Because I was gonna say, sometimes what they have is they view my website or something, or view my
Yeah, yeah,
services tab
yeah,
on LinkedIn. And
yeah,
you usually can do that.
yeah,
All right, man.
yeah,
Thanks a lot.
yeah.
Good job, man.
Nice
Way to
meeting
go.
you. Yeah,
Thank
sure
you.
thing. Nice having this conversation. Bye for now, Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you later.